Let's get started. So welcome everyone to the joint meeting for the Rules and Open Government and Committee of the Whole. And Tony, can we have a roll call, please?
Arenas? Cohen?
Here.
Davis?
Here.
Peralez? Jones?
Present.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. So we're going to start out reviewing the agenda for October 18th. Starting on pages 4 and 5. Six and 7. Eight and 9. 10 and 11. 12 and 13. 14 and 15. 16 and 17. 18 and 19. 20 and 21. 22 and 23. 'Okay, and there is an ad sheet before we go to public comments. Lee, I know that the Horizon report is pretty jam-packed in November and December. And I think if Raul, Magdalena, and I have to, spend our last council meetings to midnight, I think we'll have a mutiny. So I wanted to find out more about how we can load balance the latter part of the year.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Yes, the Horizon report has been populated with everything from the administration. It does look overloaded. So what we're going to be doing, similar to what we did in May and June before the end of the fiscal year, is to ask each department to go through and identify of that item, does it legally or operationally need to be heard before the end of the year versus what was council directed to have it heard before the end of the year so that the Rules Committee can make more informed decisions as you approve agendas through now until December 30th.
So what does that look like from a process standpoint? You're going to come back with the list of agenda items and have us pick which ones are discretionary versus legally required, or how
Yeah.
does it work?
We could certainly try to identify them on the Horizon report for you. What we did in the spring that seemed to work well is when we did the page flip, there was a conversation between you, the rest of the committee members of Rules, and the administration on the notes for that. And you guys were able to kick things off into August, which were heard, but then go ahead and put things forward in June that really needed to be heard for, whether it was important council direction or if it was a legal issue. So as we go ahead and develop the agendas, we would have those notes ready for these meetings.
Great, thank you. We will now go to public comments.
Blair?
Hi.
Blair Beekman here. Thanks for the meeting today. I had two items I wanted to quickly discuss on your agenda. One is 2.10, a city roadmap about the future of encampment services. It's a hefty portion of money that's going to, I guess, address the Guadalupe Gardens issues. Good luck in those efforts. It's my hope that with this sort of item, it reminded me of, I hope that you can be wanting to consider the future of city-sponsored encampments and the concepts of, some sort of nonprofit, perhaps working with it. That idea just isn't mentioned enough and talked about enough. I just thought I'd mention it this time as a reminder of what we can be working on. And to speak to item 2.8, lateral police officer hiring incentive pilot program. You guys talked about this a few weeks ago, a month or so ago. It seems an okay effort, but I'm much more interested in the concepts of how to get union work like SEIU persons and everyday community to be more a part of regular police department services. That was an important concept after the George Floyd issues. Good luck how to better develop those sort of concepts of community and policing. I think those are the efforts we really need to focus on and not just inbred services and concepts. Good luck how we really want to address the future reimagine questions. And to quickly offer item 8.2, I think it is, or 8.3, is the future of mobile home issues. It's some sort of yearly report. I just thought I would mention it this time so people could be ready. Mobile home park land use designation status report, 8.3.
Caller 1541.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Glenna Howcroft. I'm a GSMOL chapter president representing mobile home park residents. I'm asking that the item mobile home land use designation scheduled for October 18th be brought to the floor either late in the afternoon or early evening with a time certain. You are aware that the mobile home designation is a huge seniors issue. Seniors and the disabled cannot sit on the phone for hours waiting for this item to come up. At the CED meeting September 26th, many of the speakers were seniors. You must make this meeting accessible to seniors and the disabled alike. I implore you to schedule the mobile home land use designation item for late afternoon or early evening with a time certain. Thanks so much for listening.
Back to the committee.
Thank
Move
you.
approval of the agenda
Okay.
with the ad sheet.
Second.
All right. If there are no other hands raised or anyone wants to speak up, Tony, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Cohen,
Aye.
Davis,
Yes.
Jones.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, on to the consent calendar. Do we have public comments for the consent calendar?
Blair,
Hi, thank you. Blair Beekman here. I wanted to comment on it is time for the monthly audit report. And there's just a bunch of items that were really of interest to myself. You guys had a really great session, it sounded like, on the Children and Youth Bill of Rights issues yesterday. It went on, I had to go someplace, and it went on much longer than I expected. Thank you. Thank you for just talking about the issue. And you know that Children and Youth Bill of Rights has been on this audit report, monthly reporting, for months now. There's a bunch of items, COVID-19 recovery issues, to name a few. You have also a new segment called Assignments Not Yet Started that's of interest to myself, called Language Accessibility, which I think is kind of a comment on, you know, the voter eligibility issues that didn't quite form this fall that I wish could have, that I think we could have offered with study sessions, a really interesting process for the future of California state court decisions. But instead, you settled, I think, on questions of language accessibility for, city services and perhaps emergency services. That's still really important. And the fact that we are talking about language accessibility, thank you immensely. I wish I better understood why exactly the 1980 English-only laws within the Ronald Reagan era were created. I mean, I was alive when that was happening, and it was a pretty angry time. It was an upsetting time. We've learned to make peace with the issue, but I think it's important that we've made steps to address it again, and we're trying to. I think we need to keep up those efforts and what multi-languages can bring to government and how it can be a more accessible process. Thank you.
Back to the committee.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
Move approval.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Tony?
Cohen.
Aye.
Davis.
Yes.
Jones.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item is annual merit increases and additional executive leave for council appointees. All right, we'll go to public comments.
I have no hands up.
All right.
Right, I'll move approval.
All right, so
Second.
Seconded. And Rhonda, I don't know, you're here. Did you like to speak to this? Would you like to speak to this item? You're on mute.
Only if you guys have any questions. It's just, I think we need to read what the recommendation is, and then you guys can approve it. That's my understanding.
Okay. All right. Any other questions, comments? All right. Tony?
Cohen.
Aye.
Davis.
Yes.
Jones.
Aye.
you.
Okay, on to open forum.
Blair.
Blair Beekman here. To try to better formulate my final words from yesterday. After 2 weeks of the UN General Assembly, besides the strong efforts of Ukrainian freedom fighters and their for the efforts of their full independence, is the question being asked, will the steadfast peace negotiations set long before Russia's questionable decision to invade Ukraine, and that offers a two-state solution for the future of Ukraine, will we be at this same peace negotiation question a year or two now with more war as where we are currently with this question of peace and negotiation talking points? Just a question I thought I would put out there as how to address what is becoming a pretty intense war, and what to address now as compared to a few years from now. Are we going to be addressing the same things? It might be worth it to work towards peace now, I think. With that said, just a good luck in how to address tech accountability issues that I've been trying to talk about. I think I need to make clear that we really have to address the concept of streetlight technology and how much data it's collecting, along with, say, the electronic billboard issue by the airport. Those sort of data collection things, they're being gathered and sold in bundles to both private corporations and to law enforcement agencies. We're at a time with the abortion issues that have been happening this past summer to really start to again address what exactly are the civil protections people can have with data collection. And I hope that we don't fear that sort of subject. As I've been saying, Berkeley's made good steps in that direction that we can follow, and I really make up some of our own good ideas. And that's growth, and that's innovation. That's a good process. Thank you.
Back to the committee.
All right, this meeting is adjourned.